Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. We're going to be getting into some Gachiakuta today, picking back off after a damn cliffhanger. Our boy Zanka, I don't know, man. It's looking sus, dude. I'm worried to watch this next episode to find out. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. We also got some really good discussions about human nature and like what normal means. I thought that was so interesting last episode. I like Zodil's description of what normal really is. I thought that was, I don't know, man. It's just intriguing because I think it applies to real life a lot, you know. But yeah, hope you all having a good week. I actually streamed for the first time recently on good old Twitch. Maybe I'll shout it out at some point. I'm just kind of giving it a go and seeing if I'll like it or not. I'm not gonna lie, I was so nervous. I mean, I was talking with a couple of viewers who joined in from the Patreon. Thanks for supporting me, y'all, but it was pretty fun. I don't know, man. There's something different about just talking with the camera, you know, versus like live with people. It's a whole nother layer of pressure per se. I probably shouldn't really feel that pressured, but for some reason, man, it's just, you know, so many people watching you live. It's a whole different beast here. Versus YouTube, you know, you can, if you make a fool of yourself, you can cut it out. But yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this episode. I appreciate y'all joining me. If you enjoy the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff. I appreciate y'all's support. And let's go ahead and watch some Gachiakuta together. Man, this fight was so sick last time too. I like Zodil's voice over the fight. Hellguard, okay. It's kind of cool. Little Zanka.
Hi.
The voice. We're deep in a backstory, man. It's like a modern, like, samurai village kind of thing. Or apocalyptic samurai village, I guess I should say. Hmm.
この中央極卒訓練校に入ったお前たちに待ち受けるは厳しい試練とライバルたちだ。より強靭な極卒になるため競い学ぶのだ。
Okay. Little cutthroat.
噂ではえらい優秀なやつが入ってきたらしいで。男？女？女。へえ、どんな子かな。相変わらず佇まいから他とは違うな、残華君。こん町の地主の子やぞ。
Got some pride down.
全員極卒なっとるエリート家じゃ。常に成績トップなんが残華君やぞ。さぞかし女子にモテとんじゃろな。まあ仕方ねえよな。俺ら凡人だし、天才にはどうやっても勝てんのじゃ。
So at this point, he was seen as the genius or the natural talent. Oh no. Oh my god, bro. It's not just all talk, he is working hard. Seems like this girl that's gonna come in is gonna be real strong though. Maybe she'll show him up and bring his ego down a notch. She is.
特例としてさらに才ある者をこの組に投入することにした。スラム育ちだが実力は確かだ。
ここから知ることになる。本物を前にした自分の弱さと強さを。
Damn, I like her character design. The white, she's like all whited out, even her eyes.
均一という
この訓練校で最も高貴と言われる椅子がある。
Looks luxurious.
その椅子に座ることが許される。
Sparkles.
その年最も優秀な訓練生の
Had to look around. Ooh.
素晴らしい。模擬戦でいきなりこの組全員を凌駕してしまうとは。やはり実力は確かなものだ。金椅子も夢ではないな。ひょうよ。
Yo. Looks kind of dead inside though.
なんあいつ。
スラム育ちか知らんが済ました態度しよって。
先生があんなに称賛することなんてなかったのに。
Doesn't sound like she thinks she's better.
あんな基本も
Sounds like all y'all are insecure.
極卒やってける思っとんかね。
Oh my god, she just wrecked all y'all.
私もあのスタイルに慣れてたらあんなひょろいの余裕だったんだけどな。
実は僕今日は体調良くなかったんだよね。
Denial.
なんかも負けたんだよな。参加。
いやボレ強かったな。勝てんかったわ。俺もまだまだ修行が足りんな。
It's a better way of taking that on. Actually surprised Zanka reacted that way. But in private. Yeah, he's struggling. Damn. Wow, facial animation here, y'all. Too cool. Damn, she's quick as hell. And she's strong, bro. Damn. Hmm.
垂れてるよ。血。
His whole face is bleeding.
なんしょんこんなところで。冷静にならんと。それにしてもほんまやるな。入って早々に金ス候補って。
金イストやらに座ったら何になるの？
そりゃ極卒のレジェンドって言われとる人とか、
It's all
地
show.
方のお偉いさんとか、長通っとる人が座ってきた椅子じゃけな。
だからさ、ただの椅子に座って何になんの？すごい人って言われたいだけじゃん。それが何になんの？
It's all ego. This is the way it's going to challenge Zanka truly. It's not just about the strength or his talent, but like his mindset.
本物の存在は偽物を容易に変質させる。
髪切ったんじゃね？別にすっきりしたかしら。
本物を真似る偽物。本物から盗もうとする偽物。本物をけなす偽物。気色悪い。
今日の授業は特別だ。ここにあらゆる武器を揃えてやる。この中から直感で技物を選定しろ。さまざまな武器を使えてこその極卒だが、自分に合いかつ優れた武器を選び取る。
Damn. Wow, they got a huge variety, dude.
一番気色悪いのは、自分は他の偽物とは違うと勘違いしていた俺だった。
Yeah, this is really good so far.
あの訓練校、武器選定の授業とかやってんのか。
Is this engine?
坊主が選んだのはそれなわけね。でもよ、なんでそんなとこいいんだ？
Wow. He almost looks blind.
その授業3日前ってさっき言ってたよな。ずっと飲まず食わずでこの井戸もどきの中いたってこと？
花があったけ入っただけじゃもう照れ。
ほんじゃ俺らはここの特産 博多まんじゅうでもいただくかね。
Damn, that looks good. Dude, Engine's voice actor is so good.
それぞれが思う強そうな武器を選んだ。ヒョウもそうすると思った。だから俺は木をてらった。ボロボロで武器として使えなさそうなのを選んだ。実はすごい武器じゃったってやつ。
そうでもない武器だったのか。
Hmm.
武器ですらなかった。武器並べた学校側のミスでようわからん棒が紛れとったらしいわ。まさか俺があんな目で見られる思っとらんかったわ。ほんでみんなのお待ちかね、本物が選んだ武器、何の変哲もないごく普通の刀じゃった。俺ダッサダッサイダッサイダッサイわおんま。ダッセ天才言われたいだけのカスは俺じゃったんじゃ。結局凡人が何しても天才にはなれ。
Damn.
死んでしまえ。
Hates himself, dude.
俺はこの棒切れもただの偽物。
凡人のお前が天才超えればいいだけじゃね。
Shout out to Rock Lee.
お前が天才という別人になる必要がどこにあんだよ。なんだかんだ言ってやる気まだあるんじゃねえの。ただの棒未だに握ってる。普通は手放すガラクタ強く握ってんじゃん。ただの通りすがりがああだこうだ言うのもあれだけどよ、要素に気づきゃ強くなれんだよ。
Damn, I like that. That's really well said.
いつか証明してくれや。凡が天を超えるところ。
Rio? Dude, their fits are cool. Soundtrack's kind of going hard, y'all. Yeah. Oh, he's alive. Dude, let's go. Goosebumps. I got mad goosebumps, y'all. Oh.
証明するまで死ねんと凡人の底力見せたら。残華くん。底力。
What? Is he still done?
幻覚見てんだね。
Ah, they really just did this to us? God damn, dude, I was hype as hell. Oh my god, Jobber.
おいらのお気にの幻覚ドクター。
I feel so conflicted. Like, it's kind of catchy as hell, but well, Zonka's dying.
お気の毒。ああ、いや違った。
Phenomenal.
現実と見まがうほど鮮明な幻覚。やみつきになるよ。あ、いって肋骨いって
Good.
肋骨折れたらさ、笑うのもしんどいんだよ。
He's sneezing, you want to die.
めっちゃ楽しんでんじゃん。ちょ、待ってよ。ずるい。おいらも待って。
God damn it, Jobber. Bro, he's insane. What the fuck, y'all? God, dude, I have so many mixed emotions from all that. That was crazy. Rochi. the heck is this? What the fuck? That looks cursed. Oh no.
半獣の供物にされに行こっか。ジャバー君、上手に使命を果たせました。
Ah. Dude, I really don't want Zanka to fucking die. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's dead yet, but like, boy, is it not looking good, y'all. Like, dude, that scene had me on my toes. At first, I was hyped because I was like, yeah, Zanka's coming back. And then, of course, he's hallucinating. And then Jobber just starts rapping a beat, throwing some bars out there. But of course, the whole time you're like, also like, well, shit, Zanka's kind of actually screwed. So damn, that was a really good episode, y'all. All right, y'all, let's get in the review section here. Man, probably at least one of the top 2 episodes of the series so far. Like this and Amo's backstory, really, really well done. I think it's always a good sign when a show knows how to do a backstory really well and add like a lot of depth to a character or emotion to a character. And I think the author did a fantastic job with Zanka here. Honestly, in some ways, this backstory reminds me of Zoro's to a degree from One Piece, with kind of the girl that he was training with, who was so kind of like his rival and so much stronger than him. It kind of takes a lot of ambition from that. Now, still very different in a lot of ways, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about the backstory first, and we'll get into a little bit more of the outcomes of it all, because that was probably the most surprising part. So I guess Zanka's from this noble clan that usually joins the Hell Guard, which it sounds like this whatever city they're in, or I don't know if it's the Hell Guard itself or that's just kind of like the militia of the regime, but it seems like this is really what rules the ground, or the people of the ground, I should say. Pretty interesting that there is kind of like a hierarchy on the ground. I mean, we kind of had this alluded to when we first met Zanka, that he was noble, so we could kind of, I guess, connect some dots there, but it's cool it being fleshed out a little bit more, and the Hell Guard is really there to try to, like, I guess, kind of be like, I assume, like the militia or the police force, kind of, you know, making sure they have some law and order. Although obviously on the ground that doesn't really seem to be much of a case with just how chaotic things are, but maybe they do the best they can. And you know, Zanka's from this family that seems to be pretty talented. They have that noble bloodline, so they all join the Hell Guard. You know, he has a couple older brothers and sisters, I think they said. It was kind of Zanka's next in line, and we see very quickly that he's the best in his class. He's you know, the top student. He's kind of favored to be, you know, the one to sit in that golden chair, or the golden throne, or whatever. Looks more like a chair, but you know, to have that honor. And I thought it was really interesting. I think one of my favorite parts of this episode was seeing the inner dialogue and reactions of all the other students, the fakes, as Zanka was describing them, and ultimately himself too. You know, from Zanka even to Hyo, regardless of which one was the strongest, because obviously that switches very quickly. Even at the beginning, it was just Zanka before Hyo showed up. There was a lot of like jealousy, a lot of envy, a lot of disparaging him, or saying what, you know, they thought he believed, like, oh, he thinks he's so much better than us, blah blah blah. And Zanka does, but you know, there's a lot of like insecurity from these students that you know, none of them really like directly confront Zanka, but they all kind of are living within their insecurity and expressing that to each other versus dealing with it themselves. And Zanka does have an ego. He does have a lot of pride, but he is working hard. It's not like he's just a natural talent, quote unquote. He works really hard behind the scenes to make sure that he is the best, but that probably comes from some level of disconnection or insecurity within himself, as we see as this goes on. And of course, once Hyo shows up, who's from the slums, which sounds like it's a little atypical for the Hell Guard. Seems like maybe most people come from some line of nobility, or maybe not necessarily nobility, because Zanka seems a little bit special in that case, but maybe some middle class folks. You know, this town that they're in seems more well kept up or less apocalyptic than a lot of towns we've seen. So it seems like, usually they come from a well-known family to some degree, and this is out of the ordinary, but they choose her because she's so talented. I really love her character design. I love how her eyes and eyebrows are white too. Kind of reminds me of some Gojo vibes to a degree, although his eyes are blue, I guess. But, there's something that stands out about her, and she quickly defeats everybody in class, including Zanka. There's a few interesting results of this. Once again, the fakeness of the students comes out immediately. They kind of make excuses for why they beat her, saying her style was chaotic and not what they're used to. They kind of slander her style, saying it lacks fundamentals and grace kind of thing. Yeah, a lot of them make excuses. And I thought Zanka's response was kind of interesting because he's like, oh, damn, like she beat me. Guess I got to go start training harder. And on the surface, it's a more proper response or less insecure response than the rest of these fakes. But in reality, we see Zanka's pride and ego take a huge hit, and his concern about this ambition for the #1 spot start to be lost from his grips, and he's really angry and even like hurting himself. And it's really interesting because even though on the surface he seems less fake than the other students, in reality he's just as trashy as them. He's being superficial as well. He does care, and he cares for something that is really not worth caring about. It's a pride or ego thing. It's a way for people to respect him or to admire him. And that comes from insecurity because you can't give that to yourself, right? You need to earn this top spot to be okay, and you can't accept that you're not the best necessarily. So yeah, I just really like all the students and Zanka's kind of complexities here, the complexes that they have, because everybody, I think, in life has that to some degree with their insecurities, and it's very difficult to become aware about and even more difficult to accept and move forward in a healthier way. But we see Hyo challenge him very quickly about, Zanka's kind of putting on a front. He's like, oh, like, you're so talented. Like, you might even get the golden throne, or like, you might be the best. And she's like, well, what good is it to sit on this golden throne? And he's like, well, people, a lot of really strong people have been there. People might see you as impressive. And in reality, she's like, well, there's nothing to that. That's not anything, right? She kind of calls it out as it is. It's like, that's just superficial. I like how Zanka's like internal dialogue is like, at some point, I couldn't stay in the darkness for forever. And, Hyo here kind of brought him into the light, brought him away from the darkness of his ignorance, and started to having to face reality that he wasn't so special, and that he couldn't fake being so special. Yeah, in reality, a lot of Zanka's behavior is performative, and so are a lot of the other students. But like, even when he picks that stick out of the range of weapons, it's to go against the grain, to be different. And that's another huge form of, insecurity, I think, or ego. It's like, you almost try to go against the grain of things just so, almost to like protect your ego a little bit, right? Be like, I don't really care. Or I'm so different that, people won't be able to judge me because I do things in a different fashion. I've definitely fallen victim to that at many points in my life. It's almost like puts a layer of security around you, some armor around you, so that if somebody gives you a hard time, you're like, well, I did it this way, and I gave it, I set myself up for a harder path than you, blah, 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 right? But in reality, it's coming from something that's pain, not from fullness or abundance, like somebody who's secure in themselves. And of course, when he kind of realizes that this stick was actually a mistake by the school, and he's getting judgmental looks even from the instructor or his teacher, he realizes kind of the shallowness of himself and the trashiness of himself, and he crawls into this hole for 3 days. And of course, Engine and Rio show up, which I love. That Engine's kind of the one who is able to bring him out of the hole, right? The hole is a little figurative here, or symbolic of maybe his depression and his, kind of seeing where he is really, right? Seeing his lack of talent, seeing how mediocre he really is. And not being okay with that, you know, being in a lot of pain and suffering and wanting to die. Like he literally says he wants to die. And Engine kind of challenges him. Well, he's like, well, you do seem to really still care, right? You know, you are still holding on to that stupid stick. You're, you know, why are you still holding on to it? A lot of people would just toss that aside. And Engine kind of breaks it down for Zanka, saying like, hey, like who says that like somebody who's mediocre can't rise above or beat somebody who is naturally talented? And it's interesting because Zanka's kind of always had this like really strong work ethic, and so he's been doing, but just for the wrong reason, to appear like he's not mediocre, to appear like he's a natural talent, but he's not a natural talent. But what Engine says is true, and it kind of helps Zanka accept, right? He accepts that it's okay to be mediocre, but that doesn't mean you can't get better. It doesn't mean that you can't improve and be better than natural talents even. It's something that if you can accept that it's okay to be average, to be mediocre, that it enables you to grow to a higher place and from a healthier place too. And I just love that Engine was the one who calls him out. And I really like when Engine says too, it's like, you can't become strong until you know your weakness. And I think that's so freaking true. Up until you know your weakness, you're kind of projecting your insecurities or your weakness around your actions in the world around you. And then once you understand it, you can accept it. You know, we see Zanka accepting his weakness here, accepting his mediocrity, his averageness, accepting that he's been performative and trying to gain the approval of others through being a natural talent, even though he isn't. And yeah, then he is able to get out of that pit and start moving forward. So I really love the importance of this episode with Zanka's character. It's definitely made me really attached to him, and it makes the whole buildup of that scene where he seems like he's gonna have another, you know, round of life within him against Jabber, and then just to be cut down and be like, nope, he's just hallucinating. That was really sad, man. Like, yeah, it was really confusing with the emotions I felt, because at one, I was like really disappointed, like, oh shit, like the reality hit me. But then of course Jabber coming in the mix and fucking so geeky, like that like little beat we get, and he's freaking dropping some lines, bro. That was so funny. But like, it was funny but yet heartbreaking at the same time. And like that scene with Jabber laughing by him, just so sadistic, was just like really, really heartbreaking. Yeah, that scene made me feel so many different conflicting emotions. It was really impressive by the author, but at the same time, I'm like really sad about Zanka. Like, I really don't want him to be killed off now. I want to see him rise above his mediocrity, have the chance to not die here, or maybe he crumbles under the pressure, like Zodil said. I don't know, man. I'm really sad, and it seems like Jabber's gonna go offer him up to this trash beast that they have hidden. Now, the one last scene we get is of, I forgot the character's name, the one in the little dinosaur outfit, you know, kind of stumbling upon this big red organ-like thing. Honestly, it reminds me a little bit. I was trying to find the panel of it, or the frame of it in one of the episodes, but it reminds me of like what the shot we get of like Rudo's curse. I think they showed some kind of like, it looked like his heart, but it wasn't his heart, you know. It was like some kind of like weird reddish veiny orb thing, or I don't know, like tumor kind of thing looking thing. And that this reminded me of that, just like way bigger, and you know, had like those severed hands with weapons on it. Really eerie, man. That thing looks freaky. I don't know if that's connected to the trash beast that they're alluding to, or if it's some other kind of lore thing here, but yeah, dude, crazy. So freaking good. I love this episode. Let's go ahead and do the character ratings. For MVP, I'm gonna give it to Hyo. You know, we didn't get a ton of her character, but I really liked how her mindset, like her calling out that like this throne doesn't really mean anything. Like, why should you care about it? How that starts to bring Zanka out of his darkness. So in Engine does another layer of that as he gets deeper into his acceptance and pain. But I just like how Hyo was the first one to do that for Zanka. She's a critical catalyst for his character here. For the best moment, I'm going to give it to Zanka versus Hyo and their fight, and seeing their fight go side by side later on. I really liked the animation there. I thought it was sick seeing Hyo in action. She looks strong as fuck, dude. Funniest character, Jabber, dude, crazy, man. The scene with him dropping the beat was killing me, man. So funny. Shout out to Shaq. My editor, I was messaging him on the side after, like, dude, this episode is crazy. He's like, yeah, Jabber was emoting on his ass. Literally, dude. And then him laughing next to him, crazy. And then we'll skip over the Sako this time, man. Dude, yeah, y'all. These episodes, this one and the Amo backstory, are kind of making me fall more in love with the series or get more invested in the series. But I'm so freaking nervous. Please don't kill Zanka. Like, that would be really heartbreaking. Like, I'm invested in this character now. I don't want him to go. But let me know what y'all thought about this episode. What y'all think about Zanka's character now. Jobber's antics, as always. I appreciate y'all spending some time with me today. Hope y'all have a really good rest of your week, and I will catch you for the next episode. Peace.